Let's talk odor elimination. Specifically, that smoky smell in clothing items that is so hard to get rid of. So today I have 3 leather items, 2 jackets and a dress that I am going to be trying to remove the odor from. So I actually am going to be showing you, walking you through a process in this video to eliminate the smoky smell. So if that sounds interesting to you, please follow along with this video. If you're not familiar with my channel, I am Monica of Million Monica over in the Poshmark app, where I am a full-time seller. So if you are someone who's ever purchased something maybe secondhand and it has a really smoky odor, you know that trying to remove that odor can be so difficult. And that is especially true with leather items. So unfortunately, I did buy these items secondhand, not realizing that they had an odor, and then upon getting them home, I noticed that they just smelled so strongly that I didn't even want to be in the same room with them, let alone try to sell them on Poshmark, where I'm a seller. So I've been holding on to these items. I actually even had one of the items leather cleaned, and that was very expensive, and it still smells. Actually, that particular item has been hanging out in my garage all winter, and I live in Minnesota, so it's been pretty cold. So hopefully that's helped a little bit with the odor, but I'm actually going to show you what I'm going to do. It's going to take a few days, so I'm starting the video now, and I will be filming again in a couple days, and then in a few days after that to see if I can indeed remove the smoky smell. So I got a couple tips actually from Instagram followers and YouTube followers on using charcoal and baking soda to remove that smoky smell. And I actually read an article, actually a few articles, on the same topic of using more natural ingredients to remove odors. Some of those natural ingredients included kitty litter, white vinegar, vodka, and activated charcoal. So because it's leather, I do need to use something that's not going to be sprayed on the item. And so that's why I am choosing to use the activated charcoal and actually baking soda as well to remove these odors. And I will link the articles that I'm specifically talking about down below so that you can check out those articles if you're also just trying to get some more ideas on how to remove odors. But let's dive into what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to show you the items and how I'm going to go about this process. So you can see right here is some activated charcoal or carbon. This is purchased from Amazon, of course, and I will link this as well. But I know that it is supposed to be in pet supply stores and like the fish section. So you can always check with your local pet supply store. I just went ahead and ordered it online. And as you can tell, this is a really big container and this will last me a long time. Now, the reason I haven't tried this earlier or sooner is because I don't have a lot of spare room for containers, and this does require some empty containers, and that will take up a little bit of space, and it does take a little bit of time. So I have 3 items like I mentioned, and I'm going to show you those as we get going. This is just a red leather jacket. It's kind of wrinkled up right now, but it's a vintage leather jacket, and it has a pretty strong odor. Just even taking it out of the bag that I've been storing it in, it is very strong. But it's just such a cute jacket, and I would love to try to sell it or even wear it. So I would love to try to save it. So that's the first item. The second item is this gorgeous dress, another vintage item. And it is leather. It is so beautiful. I think it'd be perfect for festival season or going to like a motorcycle rally. And it's this white leather. The leather has some marks on it, but it just has this lace eyelet detail on the hem. Again, has a pretty strong odor, but it's not something I can throw in the washing machine. And the last item was an item that I had dry cleaned or leather cleaned. It's been hanging in my garage for a few months. I've also heard cold can help with odors as well. It still smells smoky. I don't think it's as bad, but I tell you what, the leather does feel so nice since it was leather cleaned. And this item, if I can remove the smell, since I have invested money into it, I am definitely interested in keeping this jacket for myself if I can remove the odor because it's my size. But it is not something I can wear with its current smell because I am pretty sensitive. So here's what I'm going to do. I have 2 separate containers and I'm going to try about 2 different methods. So I have this one container here. I'm going to put 2 items in this one. And so I'll just go ahead and put, I guess, the first 2 items. This dress, I think the dress and the red jacket aren't quite as strong as the black. So I'm just going to put them in the container on top of each other. Now just keep in mind this is a new to me method, but we're going to be checking in a couple days to see how it's going. So they're both in the container. Now I have taken some of that activated charcoal, activated carbon, and I put it in this little container here. Dumped a good amount in there. So the carbon acts as an odor absorber and a neutralizer. So it should be kind of pulling out, I think, kind of that odor. And so I put it in this container because it is carbon, it's charcoal. And if you've ever touched charcoal, you know that it's kind of got a residue, a black residue. And again, I can't wash these items, so I don't want to get the charcoal on the clothing. So I'm just going to take the little container and I'm just going to set it in the corner. You can kind of see it there. And honestly, I might find another container and put it in another corner just to really get a lot in there. Now, I chose this taller container because I didn't want it to spill, and I think that works pretty well. If you can see it again, so the charcoal is not going to get on the clothing. And then I'm just going to take the lid and I'm going to seal it up. After I finish filming this first part of the video, I'm going to go put this container in my garage in a space where I know my dog or myself is not going to just knock it over, because of course I don't want that charcoal to get on the clothing. Okay, and then I have another container here, and this one I'm going to use just for that other black jacket, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. So of course I have another container with my charcoal, but I also have this baking soda. Now I really like this baking soda because it is the newer box, I guess. It's a spill proof box. So you just remove these sides. Of course I would do that. So you just remove the sides and you can place it in like a fridge is what it's meant for, but so it won't spill onto the item, which is awesome for this especially. So I'll just put that in the container. Maybe you can see both of those items in there. And I am going to take this jacket off of the hanger that it was on from the dry cleaner. Again, I just really like this jacket. I think it's a semi-cropped length, which is perfect for my petite frame. I really like the shoulders. So hopefully we can get the smell out. And I'm just gonna go ahead and set it in there, kind of around the item. You can kind of see in there. So, and again, just going to seal it up. Voila. Set those in my garage in just a little bit, and I'll see you in a couple days, and we'll see how the smell is turning out, if it's starting to go away. Most of the articles I read said 24 hours to 48 hours, so I'm just gonna wait 2 days and check back. I've read some articles that said you might need to leave the items in there for up to a week or 2, so we'll see. See you next time. So I had every intention of checking in on the smell of these items after 2 days. However, life happened and I was not able to really check in on them and have the time to actually film it. So it has now been 7 days and I've waited that entire time to even check on these bins. I am going to be opening them up and smelling them right here for the first time on film. So you're gonna get my complete and honest reaction to the odor. I'm really hopeful, but I'm also very skeptical just because the odor, that smoky smell, is so strong. Like when I was putting these bins away the last time I filmed, I was just overwhelmed by the smell. And so again, I am very, very skeptical. So it has been 7 total days, 7 full days. So that first, this first bin up here is the one that has a baking soda. I'm gonna actually do that second. I'm gonna go ahead and open the bin that just has the charcoal. So these have been out in my garage. It's not been super cold, but it's been nicer than normal. So I don't know that this weather has helped. Okay, so I'm opening the lid and I'm not overpowered by smoky smell. That's good. Okay. I'm still, like, the lid's completely off. I'm not overwhelmed by a smoky smell. This bin only has charcoal. So both of these clear containers have charcoal. Okay. Charcoal. Okay, so here's an item. Here's that red jacket. Okay. I am not overwhelmed by a smoky smell. At all. It smells kind of old. It smells kind of vintage, which it is. If you are a vintage buyer, you know that vintage kind of has just an older odor. But it doesn't smell like smoke. Like, I'm really shocked. Okay. Here's the second item that is in the bin. Again, it doesn't smell like smoke. Like, I'm getting up in here. Again, this piece does have kind of just a older smell, like a vintage item would. So I'm probably gonna leave it in here just a little bit longer. But I am super excited about this. Like, wow. So this bin just had the carbon, the activated charcoal, no baking soda. And I did that because I was curious to see if the baking soda was like the really necessary part or if it was not necessary, if I could just get away with one ingredient. Okay, so here's the bin here's my expensive bin, because remember, this jacket is the jacket that I actually had dry cleaned. I had leather cleaned, and it cost me quite a pretty penny. So I don't want to give up on this jacket. This bin had a bin of charcoal and baking soda. So let's go ahead and see. This still has an odor, and not just a vintage odor. It's 100% not as strong, because I'm not gagging right now. It still has an odor. It's slightly smoky, and there's something. But it is, like, I would say it's 92% better than a week ago. So I will just put it back in the bin, and yeah. I mean, I can put my nose up to it without gagging, but I'm still like, if you're a sensitive person to smells, you know that certain odors will instantly give you a headache. This jacket instantly was the headache. So even though it is not nearly as bad as it was, it still has an odor. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my charcoal back in here. I'm gonna put the baking soda back in as well, and you know, it doesn't hurt. And just seal it back up and put it back in the garage. I don't know how long I'm going to wait. I doubt I'll wait a whole week, but with this jacket, I will kind of just wait as long as it takes, because I definitely think that it's working. I am super excited about these two items in this bin. The first two items that we saw, because I really didn't smell any smoke, just kind of that vintage smell. Remember, these were the two items that didn't have as strong of a smoky smell to begin with. So 7 days, we're doing great, but I'm gonna leave them for a little bit longer, and I'll see you in the next part. Okay, it has now been 2 full weeks for these items to have been in these bins, and just like last time, I haven't checked on these in a week. So really today, no matter what the outcome, I think I'm just going to take the items out and move on, because it has been 2 weeks, and honestly, I kind of forgot about them, and I don't really want to just leave them sitting any longer. After I kind of updated my Instagram with how the process was going last week, I did have a few more people reach out to me in regards to things I could do to kind of speed the process up. So some suggestions that I had were to let them hang outside, rinse the containers with bleach, put the items back in, put new charcoal in. Someone even suggested putting in a little container of vinegar. Vinegar also helps remove odors. So I had a lot of different suggestions and a lot of great feedback. However, I just wanted to leave the bins as they were to really see if the activated charcoal was effective in removing the odor. But I am just going to be moving on because at this point 2 weeks is enough time to kind of spend on them. And once I open these bins up, I will talk to you about what I'll be doing next. Okay, so I am going to start with the same bin that I normally start with, and that is the bin that has the 2 items and the 2 bins of charcoal. So the first item I'm taking out is the red leather jacket. It's pretty good. Like, I'm okay with it. And, it doesn't have that smoky smell. It does have a little bit of a just older scent, but it's not smoky. So that was the goal. So I can't say that it smells very different than it did the last time I opened it up, so a week ago. It really hasn't changed in the week span. I will say that because these charcoal had so much in it, what I did before I closed the bins and put them back in the garage last time, I did kind of shake up the charcoal to get kind of the stuff at the bottom more towards the top. Okay, and here's that next piece. It's pretty good. So this piece, before I put it up for sale, I will be using some leather wipes. Because it's white, it does have some areas where there's maybe some discoloration, so I will try to clean up the leather as much as I can. But yeah, it's not smoky. That was the goal. But again, it hasn't really changed much since last week, so what I can say, I guess, is it probably didn't need a full 2 weeks, or if I were to do it again, I would probably try a different tactic, as far as maybe try the vinegar, or putting them outside or something like that, like I mentioned earlier. So those are those 2 bins, and I'm just gonna remove these for now because I don't need a mess. Okay, and now the true test of this bin, which has the really smoky smelling jacket. This bin last week this jacket last week still had a bit of a smoky smell. So I can't really say that it's smoky anymore. Maybe a little bit. I would definitely say it's better than last week. It still has a little bit of an odor, more so than the other 2. So instead of just putting this back in the bin with charcoal, I am going to hang it outside during the day, during like sunlight hours. So right after this video, I am just going to go hang it outside, let it air out a little bit. And then from there, I might try putting it back in a bin with some vinegar. Or I could also try rinsing the bin with bleach, just a little bit of bleach solution, rinsing it out really well, you know, cleaning the bin out, making sure there's no more bleach left in it, but just cleaning the bin really well, and then putting it back in the bin with some more charcoal. I could try that as well. But as far as this video is concerned, I am going to end this video after today. I might do some Instagram updates, so if you're really curious, you could head over to my Instagram page at @millionmonica as well to follow along. I do add more kind of behind the scenes peeks over there on Instagram. But as far as this video is concerned, I am really happy about the results of the activated charcoal in removing pretty much all of the smoky odor from these leather materials. I definitely would try activated charcoal again in the future with other like items such as like wool blazers, you know, any other leather products, shoes. I think it would work pretty well on. Really anything that really has a strong odor that cannot be removed through like washing it in the washing machine. So I really am very happy with, you know, the outcome of using activated charcoal, but it, you know, didn't completely solve my problem, which is to remove all the smoky smell from these leather items. And so this one still does have a bit of an odor, but I'm not quite done with it yet. So like I said, I have a few more ideas of what can be done. And I think this is a great tool that you can add to your toolbox for, you know, getting rid of odors. So if you have any questions or comments, suggestions, anything else that I might try or should try, you can leave those down below in the comments. I would, you know, always am open to more feedback and suggestions. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.